Okay, first of all, women don't hit a wall. Sorry. It doesn't. It's not a thing.
Can I just say something real quick? I hate when men act like the older a woman gets, the less value she has.
What one man will not do for you, another man will. Stop chasing after a man that's not making you a priority.
To become a priority in a man's life, you must become an asset. That position is earned.
By the year 2030, about 45% of women between the ages of 25 to 44 are going to be single.
As an extremely independent woman that loves to make her own money, I still think men should pay on the first date, and this is why.
Guys, I'm this close to giving up on dating.
Being a strong, independent woman only goes so far, far and far away from men, that is. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
Currently, I don't date. And it's purely for the reason that I am exhausted.
I am done with all of these games. I'm done with men. Why is it so hard to find your person?
God, am I lonely sometimes.
I had a man say to me once that the reason that he likes dating younger women is because they're not so angry. Literally was like, I like younger women because they're still so sweet. Like, yeah, babe, it's a lack of experience with your literal gender. They don't know yet. Nobody likes an angry woman, right? It's okay to be a little angry, though.
Damn, that woman sounded a little angry while explaining this. I'm joking, but that's one of the reasons why men date younger women. Another one is these women lose that femininity softness they once had before becoming an angry woman. As women age, many become more jaded or frustrated, whether it's from past relationships, career stress, or just life in general. That softness and nurturing quality that men appreciate can fade, replaced by a more hardened, sometimes even resentful demeanor. I mean, what kind of man would want that chaos in his life anyway?
Okay, y'all. True story. Single in San Antonio. I'm at Lowe's. I'm about to walk in and get a replacement for my guest bathroom toilet. Who's going to come rescue me? I want to be rescued. I've spent the first 40 years of my life refusing to be rescued. I'm over it. Come rescue me. Come save me. I'm officially a damsel in distress. I need my yard mowed. I need my toilet fixed. And I need some other things done around my house. Help? I don't want to do it anymore. I'm tired. I'm tired. So if you are a single man who can pass a background check, you have a pulse, you're employed, and you don't live with your mama, come help me, okay? I need your help. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm tired.
Hire a handyman. Don't take a good guy away from someone else who will actually love and appreciate them. Remember that last line, boys. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm tired. You'll hear it again. Hire someone. You are not a damsel in distress. Stop it. I hear you. I'm in the same situation. I try to fix everything on my own, but I want to scream. I'm going to assume this is one of those women who didn't need or want good men in her prime. But now that she's 40, she's asking to be rescued, basically begging for a man to pick up her load. This is a woman who didn't want any man for the first 40 years of her life. Why would a man want to deal with her now for the second 40 years? It amazes me because every single woman who's taken the route of being independent come forward as they get older and they say, "It's too hard for me alone. I need help." How many more of this are we going to see before they realize it is important to find a good man in their prime years?
What is the hardest part about being single in your 50s? Is it that you still remember how great it felt to fall in love and think about getting married and having kids? Is it that we have had so many bad experiences in a marriage that we're now divorced and we don't want to repeat them? What is it? What makes this so hard? We are all looking for the same thing. We all want to be happy, at peace, and possibly have somebody to share it with. Why is it so hard?
I think the scary part, specifically with when you're a woman, is that You're kind of told by society in all these ways that as you get older, you lose your value. And that's because a ton of our value is placed on physical appearance, which of course, as society likes to tell us, declines as you're aging. But men get to be these salt and pepper zaddies, and they get to show all their wrinkles, and they get to look rough on magazine covers, and women just get more and more photoshopped.
This is crazy because it's true. While men are facing the world as is when they're older, women still clinging to filters and Photoshop to maintain an illusion of youth and perfection. These digital enhancements act like a mask to cover up insecurities about aging, beauty standards, and self-worth. It's like they're trying to hold on to a version of themselves that no longer exists.
Oh my God, I learned so much from this app. And today I learned that women expire at 25. I've been expired for 9 years already. What am I going to do? I mean, I don't even have a burial plot yet. At least I have the cats.
Okay, first of all, women don't hit a wall. Sorry, it's not a thing. If any man tells you that a woman hits a wall, that is not a man you need to be dealing with. Women don't hit walls. Women always have value. Women actually increase in value in a lot of ways. So anyone who tells you that women have hit a wall, not a thing.
I understand why women have to cope like this about hitting the wall by telling themselves lies, because if they accepted it, it would drive them insane. If women fully acknowledged the reality of hitting the wall, that age plays a significant role in their dating prospects and overall desirability. It could lead to a lot of emotional turmoil. The idea of aging, especially in a society that glorifies youth, can be difficult to face. So, many women convince themselves that they are more empowered, desirable, or independent as they get older. It's like it's a mental defense to avoid feeling like their best years are behind them. They tell themselves these lies to maintain a sense of control and to protect their self-esteem, because accepting the truth would mean confronting a harsh reality.
If you're in your early 20s, listen to this. We need to have a little chit chat. Hi, 27-year-old older sister here. 27. I want to let you know your life doesn't end at 27, at 28, at 30. You're not going to start getting wrinkles. Your metabolism is not going to change. You're not going to start feeling feral like you need to have a family or get married. You are going to feel the exact same in your late 20s and in your 30s as you do right now. You are not on borrowed time, dude. You're fine. You're still going to be hot in 10 years. You're probably still going to be hot for a lot more than that, too.
Can I just say something real quick? I hate when men act like the older a woman gets, the less value she has and the more value that she loses. I feel like society as a whole, right, tries to like make women feel bad about aging, about getting older, right? And the crazy thing is, I feel like women look better with age. I feel like the older we get, the sexier we get, the more of this aura that we give off, because we've already like dealt with like insecurities and, you know, fitting in all this where we just don't give a fuck, and it just comes across like so sexy, so like powerful. Here's me as a teenager, and here's me now. I feel like I look completely better now than I did as a teenager. That's why I never understood the comments like, oh, women expire after a certain age. After a certain age, you don't get catcalled, you don't get this, you don't get that. Like, it's actually insane to me how much better women look as they age, and they just get better and better with time. Like, I can't be the only one who sees it. Like, you're in your 20s, your 30s, like you just start blossoming. You start like coming into your face, into your body. You just look so good compared to like an awkward teenager. Take a look at celebrities, take a look at women around you that you grew up around, and you're gonna see like everybody just looks so much better, so much sexier. That's why I'm really not afraid of aging. I feel like it's just gonna get better with time. What do you guys think? Let me know, because I can't be the only one who thinks this.
Well, madam, you can feel like that all you want. I also feel like you are lying to yourself. I feel like you are struggling to accept the truth. Just because you feel a certain way doesn't make it true. The reality is, at a certain point in a woman's life, Her reality starts to change. Where men have to build their value, women are born with theirs. And for the women who let that go to waste, pay the price when they reach a certain age. Maybe if women stop feeling things and start accepting the facts, then maybe things would change.
I'm 42, and that means half of my life is over.
I'm not okay being single. I don't want to be single, and I get depressed.
As a person who has been single for me personally my whole life.
I'm 53. I'm tired. I'm tired of doing it myself.
I get my feelings hurt. I don't want to be a hookup.
3 failed relationships since my marriage had ended.
And I have really missed kind of having someone to talk to.
The grass isn't greener on the other side of the fence. I'd like to hear what they're telling their closest friends who encourage them to divorce their good men husbands. The problem isn't finding your person. It's finding a good person for you and working with each other. These ladies let go of the good man in their life due to unrealistic expectations in the name of the standards. The one thing that all these women have in common is the fact that they've all hit the wall. Some of these women participate in hookup culture, and when they're done smashing everyone, that's when they're finally ready to settle down. But it doesn't work that way. What they're experiencing right now is called accountability, something they've always tried to run away from. This is the phase that these women experience when life is holding them accountable for their poor decisions. These are also the types of women who preach about not needing a man until they actually need one to be present. And I don't think men want refurbished cars. It's only fair they get the newest model.
Aren't you worried? About what? Oh my God, yeah.
I think the biggest difference between this generation of women and the generation of women that came before us is that we will just be single before we stay in an unhappy marriage. We will just be single before we let a man come into our lives and tell us a damn thing. We will just be single before we are the only people in our house cooking, cleaning, parenting, etc., etc. We're changing the script because ain't no way a man is gonna profit off of my unpaid labor for the rest of my life.
I have a hot take. So the rhetoric that women expire at age 30 is just a way for society to keep us small, because as women go into their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, beyond, we are so powerful. We have stopped putting up with the bullshit. We are speaking our needs. We are living life on our own terms, and society does not like that because society likes to control women. But here's the thing. At this point in our lives, we have gained life experience, we have gained wisdom, we have the confidence, and honestly, we still look great while doing it, so sorry. I'm turning 30 this month, literally in a couple of weeks, and I couldn't feel better about myself, honestly. And society has made me scared to turn 30 as a woman for my entire life, and now that it's actually coming to it, there's nothing to be afraid of. Actually, I am so excited because I'm stepping into my power, and I have been slowly sort of building up to this point in my 20s. And now that I'm in my 30s, like, I am unbothered. And that's something that society has not told us. All they've told us is that, you know, age 30 is when things start going downhill. And that is just so wrong. It's when things start to go uphill, honestly.
That's a lie. I don't know what power these women derived from getting older, but it's nonsense. The reality is that for many women, turning 30 is a milestone, especially when it comes to finding a husband and starting a family. Biologically, women are aware that their fertility declines as they age, and men who are looking for long-term partners often prioritize youth and fertility. This isn't just about societal expectations, it's also a natural part of the dating market. Men who are ready to settle down often look for women in their 20s because they want to maximize their chances of having children and building a family. At 30, women may still be attractive and successful, but the pool of men willing to offer marriage tends to shrink, particularly among men who have more options and can choose younger women.
I remember in college, there was so much pressure. You see all the girls going on dates and hooking up with random people, and you think that that's the way you're supposed to be, only to realize that there is so much power in preserving your own mystery, in having the self-respect to be the one who makes the choice, about knowing what you want and what you value and not being afraid to communicate that. Because the problem is that so many women are afraid to communicate. They assume the intentions of the other person, and then when they don't match up, they say, oh, he's a liar, he was just using me. Like, maybe you just didn't communicate what you want clearly.
One time had a man say to me, like, women have such a short time frame of like your prime years. Once you hit a certain age, like, life is over for a woman if you're not like married and have kids. Yeah. So what advice do you have for like girls our age that are like have this like internal clock going on in their heads?
Stop listening to these dusty boys. They have a timeline too.
Well, you're going to be bald in 5 years.
Even those boys, I don't want to call them men. They're just expressing what they think they know. They have zero idea what menopause is.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like,
they barely know what a period is.
Like, I mean, we have a different journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And who runs the world?
Girls.
Exactly.
Are you stupid? Well, she's absolutely right. Both men and women have clocks, but they're different in nature and how they impact us in society. Women have a biological clock, and as much as people might want to ignore or downplay it, it's a real factor when it comes to fertility, family planning, and even the attention they receive in the dating world. As women get older, especially into their 30s and 40s, the pressure can mount, and the options start to narrow. It's not just about looks, it's about timing, biology, and the reality that certain life choices become more challenging as the years go by. Men, on the other hand, have what I'd call a financial clock. In many cases, men aren't valued in their prime based on their looks or youth, but by what they've achieved and what they can provide. The key difference is that while women may face a sense of urgency earlier in life, men often hit their stride later. We don't operate on the same timeline.
Ladies, let's forget about the whole if he wanted to, he would. We're living, if he won't, another man will.
As a woman in her 30s who's been in New York for 10 years, it's really hard to watch toxic men continuously date younger and younger. Why do they do that?
She meant to say, I'm 30, nobody wants me. New car equals 0 miles versus used car with thousands of miles. Toxic? They love to shame you when you don't want them to try and manipulate you. Do these ladies wake up every day thinking of new ways to blame men for their bad decisions? The word toxic gets thrown around so much these days that it's lost its meaning. This is a bitter woman who's no longer receiving the same attention she used to when she was younger, and that frustration turns inward, creating a sense of resentment. If men aren't going for women who are older, it's because these women's inner self is stuck in time in which they were younger, meaning they've lost that feminine side of them, that softness. And that's not something men want to deal with.
If you're a single woman, this is why you should always be rotational dating, aka dating 2 to 3 men at a time. As women, we get attached way too quickly, and if you only date one man, most likely ignore red flags or ignore things that you shouldn't be ignoring. When you're rotational dating, you're not sleeping with them, you're not going to their house, you're just going on dinner or activity dates to get to know one another. This is the proper way to date, to actually get to man slowly, get to know his character, allow him to respect your boundaries of not wanting to go too quickly, and see if he is the right man for you. Also, because you are dating multiple men at the same time, the man that you're dating can feel that you're not all desperate and all up in their business, so they're able to actually step in their masculine and come and chase you because they know that you're not going to be chasing them.
Incorrect. Any woman who feels comfortable dating multiple men at the same time is likely dealing with deeper inner issues, whether it's insecurity, fear of commitment, or a need for constant validation. What these women are doing is not just exploring options, as they often claim. It's essentially playing a game at the expense of men's time and energy. They're stringing along men who might genuinely be interested, all while never intending to take any of these relationships seriously. In many cases, it's about using men for the benefits that come with dating, like free meals, attention, and entertainment, while offering little to no emotional investment in return. These women know that the men they're seeing might be putting in real effort, hoping for something meaningful, but instead, they're being kept on a rotation.
If you're not gonna spend on me, get out of my DM. Do not be wasting my time. I'm not interested.
Well, there is something to be said about being upfront and honest.
I think that's all you should know. I'm very expensive. I have a very expensive taste. I'm like trying to get another piano.
Oh my, there's at least one word for that, if not several.
So, make it make sense.
So to make it make sense in the easiest possible way, that individual sounds like they're charging for their time.
I cannot be wasting my time on someone that's not spending on me. You know what I mean? Does it add up?
It kind of makes a person wonder what exactly that would add up to.
Your roster is ruining your chance at having a healthy relationship, and let me explain. 99% of the time when we have rosters, we're not honest about it. We're not telling people that we're dating 4 to 5 people other than them, because we all know that that's a turnoff. If you went up and told 90% of people that you're dating 4 to 5 people, even if they have their own roster, they're leaving. And if a roster is something that you cannot be honest about, you're already basing your relationship off of lies. Self-preserving lies. And if you think you're going to flip a switch and stop telling self-preserving lies, you're fucking dumb. My best advice for anybody who is looking to have a wholesome, healthy relationship is to date one person at a time. You don't need plan A through D. You need to give plan A your best shot. And then if plan A falls through, you find a new plan A. That's how it's supposed to work. Just try it. Like, no harm, no foul. Just try it once.
I dated a girl, about 15 dates. She told me she was still dating other guys. I walked away that day and never looked back. Rosters. Another reason to just not date in this generation. I think having a roster is so classless. And the illusion of options is destroying people's perception of healthy relationships. Having a roster means you're for the streets. Having a roster for these women is them having many options they can use for free meals when they go on dates. They don't have any real intentions of settling down with a man. It's just fun to them to waste a man's time, effort, and hard-earned money. These women will never be able to get into real relationships because they're so used to having many people at their disposal. Everyone wants a real thing until it becomes real. Or maybe it's not real that they're looking for. Maybe it's dopamine.
Out of curiosity, what do you expect is going to happen when you marry a 22-year-old supermodel and 8 years later, she's 30? What, are you gonna cheat on her, divorce her for someone else younger? Are you gonna upgrade? There really is no justification for this type of mindset. And men will say, oh, it's because women can't have children after they're 30. That's also untrue. My mother had 4 children when she was 30, 31, 33, and 36, with no fertility drugs. Women do not expire like a carton of milk at 30.
I've never understood why men treat women in their 30s as if they are like the most undesirable things on the planet.
I just want to throw my 2 cents in here because I'm 34 years old and I have received more male attention than I ever have in my 20s. And the reason why is because I have my stuff together a little bit more and I'm a lot more confident and have a sense of self, and people respond to that. So there are going to be some guys that prefer women in their 20s, and that's okay. But you're still going to be desirable to men. It's just that you're going to be attracting a different demographic when you enter your 30s, not the old demographic that you attracted, because you're not the same person you used to be. So I just wanted to throw that out there. You are absolutely beautiful, and welcome to the 30s club, girl.
Again, it's not that women in their 30s become completely undesirable. They just notice a sharp decline in the level of attention they used to receive. In their 20s, many women are used to turning heads wherever they go, having multiple men interested in them, and getting offers from men of higher value. But as they hit their 30s, the attention slows down dramatically, and it can feel like a wake-up call. This can be shocking for some women, especially if they've built a lot of their confidence around the attention they received during their younger years. They start to realize that men, particularly the ones they would prefer, are now focusing their attention on younger women.
As an extremely independent woman that loves to make her own money, I still think men should pay on the first date, and this is why. This is just my opinion, and you do not have to agree with it. And I'm not talking about long-term, because I think long-term it is necessary for both parties to participate in order to create a healthy, long-lasting relationship, which is what me and my boyfriend do. But for me, if I'm going on a date with you, I'm getting an idea of who you are as a person to potentially see you as long-term potential or a long-term partner. And as a female, no matter how independent or like boss lady you are, you want this feeling of protection and security. It is this instinctual thing within our heart and being. So when someone wants me to pay for it or split it on that first date, it immediately gives me this sense that I can't let my walls all the way down. And that might not resonate with someone, but as someone that constantly has to operate a lot from my masculine energy, I want to be with someone that can allow my feminine energy to come out. Which I also take responsibility that I have to be the one to also allow myself to do that. But there are certain environments which will make that easier, that being one of them. And just on top of that, I think kind of a rule of thumb is like, you asked her. I think it's fair to say, like, if she asked you, it might be a little bit different. And of course, every situation is different, but I guess that's kind of how I feel, just like baseline.
As an extremely independent man, that outdated expectation should be thrown out the window. We are living in a society where women have multiple partners, have multiple guys on rotation. For all you know, you can just be another man on that roster. And once again, a first date is for two people who are trying to get to know each other. What if the date doesn't lead to something serious? Does he get a refund? Your walls should come down with someone you're actually dating, when there's trust and respect on both sides, not with someone who might not even make it past the first date. The idea that a man should prove something by paying up front is a burden that really shouldn't exist in modern dating. I think women today focus on the paying aspect way too much, rather than getting to know the person. What a shame.
This is for all the women in their 20s who are afraid of getting older. I was once you. I was once her. But as a 35-year-old woman, I can honestly tell you that things get better and better. She's commenting on a video where we talk about the dating pool and how it shrinks the older that you get as a woman. And that is true, but it's not because women are expiring. Women are so much more than the guys that we're with or the guys that are attracted to us. And I know that runs counter to what our society tells us, and that is by design to keep women under control. But let me tell you this, life gets better. Your friendships will get better because you're more secure with who you are. You'll understand what you want out of life and you'll get it. You'll stop being so insecure, which is ironic because you get some wrinkle. But with age comes an acceptance of who we are. And that is the best thing ever.
Not true. Men always want the younger, more attractive girls. Sorry, it's reality. Older women always lie to younger women to make the same mistakes just like you, because it satisfies your needs to not be the only one who got fooled. It's not about attractiveness solely. It's ease of having children. If neither want children, then age doesn't matter. Women are the worst enemy for other women. This is another lie these women tell themselves and younger women, that as they get older, their lives will improve. In reality, reports show that the least happy demographic is people who are 42, single, and childless. By the way, being child-free and childless is something that these women preach a lot, quite often. But despite the frequent preaching about the benefits of being child-free, these women often face a stark reality. their lives don't necessarily get better. They can end up feeling more isolated and unfulfilled. The picture they paint of freedom and self-sufficiency often masks deeper issues. But nonetheless, these women's lives do not get better at all. They just sip on wine and play with their cats.
It's a strange thing being a woman in this society, having recently rounded the bend of 40, because with every passing year, I get funnier, I get kinder, I get wiser, I get better at loving, I become a better person. But every year society values me less and less. And it's a strange kind of pain, loving myself more every year and watching who I'm growing into while society goes through that process in reverse. So if you ask me, would I go back to, 25 or 30 for that additional societal capital? No. I enjoy this age more, even with society's bullshit. But will I judge women who do whatever it takes to stave off the external effects of aging? No, because it's a weird thing to be getting better and better internally and to love yourself more and more internally, and not have that process reflected externally.
You will hit a wall. It's not that society as a whole values women less and less as they age. It's more that their value in the dating market decreases because fewer men are interested in them as romantic or long-term partners. The reality is, most men are naturally drawn to youth, which is why younger women tend to attract more attention. This is just the nature of the game.
It's so hard to want to date when there's one person you want. Because I don't like anyone else.
Listen to this. Right? The game is different for men. Because if a guy is progressing in himself, in his life, in his career, in his steps, right? Him getting older, right? He has the option to choose the girl that he was just going to fool around with, or to choose the more, if he's looking for like a family traditional sense. He also has that option now too.
Simply, men increase in value over time, whilst women decrease in value.
Whoa.
No, that's fair.
No, that's
fair.
He cold.
Okay, here's why dating is so much harder for a woman than a man.
Girl, it's not. Dating is much harder for men. And here are a few reasons why. 1, women want men to initiate. Automatically, this makes it more difficult for men. You're telling me that you just get to sit back and select from men, while men have to bravely spark a conversation out of midair? And somehow that's easier for him? Yeah. No. Number 2, female standards are sky high. Men don't require much to fall in love. If you take care of yourself and you're just pleasant to be around, they will crawl over broken glass for you. But guys have to make a certain amount of money, be a certain height, have immense charisma. You get the point. And number 3, our culture hates men. Masculinity is vilified in our society, and thus men are viewed with preconceived notions that women simply don't have to deal with. And that's something that has to change.
And the last one is, men have to pay for literally everything for a woman who's not adding any value to his life. And these women who expect this treatment believe they deserve it solely because they're women. It's as if their mere presence is enough for them to demand financial support without offering any emotional, intellectual, or practical contribution to the relationship. These types of women seem to operate under the assumption that just being a woman entitles them to be catered to, without having to earn or reciprocate that care.
I slept with 122 college boys.
How many days?
Just over 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay.
Yeah.
Did you just approach them in the street?
I'd already gone on social media, done TikToks, Instagram posts, say, hey, I'm coming to the Grand Oasis, which is like a main hotel a lot of the spring breakers go to. Like, basically, come and find me and let's make a video. So, like, when I got there, everyone already sort of knew who I was to come and say hi.
What was the most in one day?
22.
22 in one day?
Yeah.
You need help.
I saw a video where a woman was saying that when women buy homes, their value decreases. Like, men don't see as much value in a woman when she's a homeowner.
Wow, the nerve of these men.
But I was just like, that is so fucking backwards and really ridiculous. There's so many things that we want to accomplish, that we have to accomplish. And I mean, if we're not partnered yet, or we don't have anyone who's ready to accomplish those things with us, we're supposed to just sit back and not have them because of the male gaze?
I feel like Black women, we're constantly reinventing ourselves, constantly working towards more, constantly trying to get to what it is that we deserve, that we feel like we desire and want. And boy, fuck you.
It's completely made up. Not once have I heard a man say he's turned off by a woman because she owns a home or is financially stable. That's just not how men think. Men aren't out here saying, "Oh no, she has her own house. I'm not interested." If anything, that shows responsibility and independence, which are good qualities. The real issue for men isn't about whether a woman is a homeowner or financially independent. It's about other factors, like her attitude, how she treats him, and whether or not she still embraces her femininity. This whole narrative comes from an imaginary place where women convince themselves that men are intimidated by their success. But in reality, most men don't care about a woman's career or financial status.